Today we are making a video about installing the CTI ball tray kit. In this video we are going to discuss how to install these ball trays and how they work. This is a very nice upgrade to have if you are removing the old mechanical brush system out of your cleaner. This updates your cleaner, makes them more practical, and makes them have less moving parts, which means less to maintain, which also means that there are less parts that will wear out. We are a working shop, so hopefully that noise in the background won't bother you. Let's get started. First up, we can see how a ball tray is supposed to be seated inside of the shoe. Now on these Crippens, they're a little nicer to install these ball trays in because the ball tray system uses the existing screen rails. So these ball trays, after some removal of wood, depending on what model you have, just drop in and sit right on the screen rail. Then you slide your screen in on top of it, clamp it down. Here at CTI, we produce these ball trays. We can custom make them for any mill, any seed cleaner that could use ball trays, we can make a set of ball trays for. Looking at the seed cleaner, we can see that the top shoe, this part that shakes back and forth, is referred to as the shoe of the seed cleaner. We can see that the top shoe has been loaded with our ball tray. This is how it should look when the ball tray is installed properly. In a minute we will drop this tailgate so you can see how we had to remove a part of a board that runs across here to make this take our ball tray. Now, to orient ourselves so we can know whether or not we are at the front or the back of the seed cleaner, we are going to talk about that. We say that the front of the seed cleaner is the end that you put the screens in, and the back of the seed cleaner is the opposite end. You can see that here. We also have the bottom shoe loaded up with our ball trays. In a minute we will discuss that. And then here, standing at the end of the cleaner that you load your screens in, we can now say that this is the left side of the seed cleaner and this is the right side of the seed cleaner. Now that we've discussed how to orient ourselves on the seed cleaner, we can go over the small parts. We have them laid out on a pallet here. Your ball tray kit will come with balls to load the ball trays with. It will also come with this ball tray puller here that can also be used to remove the key tabs off of the screws. Your ball tray kit also comes with a small hardware bag. This is empty because the hardware has been installed onto the seed cleaner. And then for reference, these boards have been kept back. They are the boards that we had to cut away and remove to make this unit take the new ball trays. On this particular seed cleaner, your model may be different. First thing we need to do in order to show you how this ball tray goes in is remove this tailgate. Now that we have the tailgate removed, we can access the ball tray and the top shoe. Again, this is the top shoe, and the bottom shoe we call what shakes the seed back and forth the shoes. We can pull down this rubber. Now this rubber is something that we had to add. This can be gotten from us here at Commodity Traders International. Your kit does not come with that because we don't know what your machine will need. This can also be substituted with a thin piece of conveyor belting, some clear nylon rubber, or even a piece of steel. Even though it won't give you flexibility, it'll just make dropping the ball tray down inside of the shoe a little more difficult. We prefer the rubber, just makes it nice, makes it so you're not going to get cut on it either. That will be for you to add. These ball trays are very simple. You can see that it just drops right in there. Now these ball trays are held into the shoe with these springs and these key tabs. You can see them right there at the tip of my finger. It is a very simple design. That spring holds tension on the key tab, and the key tab gets hooked on a panhead screw that is ran up into the ball tray. In a minute we will show you that. We are going to remove the key tabs by taking off this bottom tailgate so we can reach up inside of this grain chute and disengage the key tab. Okay, I have removed the tailgate on the bottom shoe. Now I can reach up inside of this chute right here. You can see where my fingers are. And I can grab the key tab. Hopefully that's turning out. You can see the spring there. This is where the key tab, and that hooks onto the head of a screw that has been put into the bottom of the ball tray. Then on the left side, I can use my other hand to reach up and in. I can pull onto the key tab and unhook it. Now the ball tray is ready to come up and out. I can push up on my screen holders, make sure they're up as high as possible. Then I can grab the ball tray, pull it up, and slide it out. Now, to make this ball tray fit into the shoe, we had to notch out this board that runs across. Your machine may be a little different. Having said that, installing these ball trays is super easy. All we had to do was cut out this board. Now, to get the measurement on how much I should notch out, I measured from the top of the ball tray to the bottom of the ball tray, and then I added 1/4 of an inch just to give me extra room, and then this rubber seals that up. The ball trays, once they're installed, should be marked. You can see that we have top front. Top front goes into the top shoe. Then we have middle front. That is the last ball tray that gets loaded in because it is the middle ball tray, and this is the front, so that should be facing you. And then we have the bottom front. So this is the last ball tray that would be loaded in on the bottom, and the front should be facing you. Now we can remove the ball tray. Comes up and out. Now we can see the top shoe without a ball tray in it. You can see better how I notched that board out. And you can see how the key tabs are installed inside of the machine. Now, to get this one to work with the top screen, I had to bend the key tab a little bit just so that I could get it hooked on to the number 10 screw that's in the ball tray. You can see that we have an eye bolt, a spring, and then the key tab. The eye bolt goes through the side of the shoe. The drill bit you'll need is a 3/16. And then we put the included nut onto the threaded shank of the eye bolt. We tighten it down, not too much, but enough to make it snug. And then the key tab and spring and eye bolt are installed. For placement of the key tabs and eye bolts, it is an approximate. We chose a point of reference on the shoe. So in this case, this unit used to have brushes. We made these plates to go and cover the old holes for the brush system. You can see that on the opposite side there. And then we put it about 1/2 of an inch down from the plate and right in the middle of the plate. This can be approximate. It doesn't have to be exact on each side, but it needs to be pretty close. One detail that cannot be approximate is the way that the key tab and spring are pulling. So for instance, the backstop, the back of the shoe up there that I'm pointing to with my fingers, needs to have the back end of the ball tray held up against it so that as the shoe shakes, it doesn't start moving slightly like that. So in order to keep it secured, the eye bolt and the key tab need to be in a position where that when you pull the key tab, the spring becomes under tension, and then the tension of the spring is going to hold your ball tray in place, hold it up against the back of the shoe, and that's going to keep that from moving back and forth as the cleaner shakes. It is very important to position your key tab and your spring and your eye bolt at a place where you have enough room to pull it back and hook it onto the bottom of the ball tray while having a good amount of tension on the spring. If you position your eye bolt and your key tab in a position where once it's hooked, it barely has any tension, you would then need to move your eye bolt back to get more tension so that the spring is stretched out more when it is hooked on. We now have the top ball tray removed. You can see it here. It's labeled top front. We can see where we put our number 10 screw. This is a number 10 3/4 long panhead screw. You can see that we put them in the same spot on each side of the ball tray. This is what your key tab hooks onto. You can see that the key tab has a larger hole. You pull on the key tab, slide it up, and then it hooks onto the screw head right here. Note that when you are installing your screws, you want to pre-drill the hole to minimize splitting. A 1/8 drill bit is used. That's the perfect size for a number 10 screw. Use a 1/8 drill bit to pre-drill your holes and then shoot your screw in there. Your wood will hold up a lot better and there will be no splitting. Now that we've discussed how everything is installed on the top shoe, and for special applications, how you may have to bend your key tabs if you have bottom access. Again, we had to do this way and access the key tabs this way because this board does not give us enough space to reach in there and do it from the front. Now we are going to talk about the bottom shoe and the bottom set of ball trays. First up is the middle set. We've got them labeled middle front. Again, you'll have to do that once you get everything installed and tested, making sure that it's installed properly, then you label it. We can see how the key tabs are flat. We can stick our finger in the ring, pull on it, get it to disengage from the head of the screw, then the key tab pulls forward, and this corner of the ball tray is now disconnected and sitting freely. We can do the same thing to this side. Pull back on your key tab, get it to disengage from the head of the screw, and then this ball tray can be pulled up and out. Now you can see that there is a witness mark from a wooden cross member that was installed in this unit. This is some of the wooden components that had to be removed in order to install these ball trays. If you remember, we mentioned them before. This is the cross member here. Now, depending on what unit you have, your unit may or may not have cross members that have to be removed in order for this ball tray kit to work for your machine. Some machines may need a cross member to give it structure and support. Some adapting may be needed. Just depends on your machine. On this particular unit though, this shoe is plenty strong and the cross member is not needed. Now that we have unhooked our key tabs, we can push upward on our screen holders, giving us as much room as possible. Then we can grab the ball tray, pull it out. Then we can pull it up and out, and the ball tray slides out just like that. With the middle front ball tray removed, you can see where we decided to put our screws. We don't want to put our screws too far to one end because then it wouldn't be digging into enough meat in the wood, so then it may pull out. We put it about 1/2 inch down from the top on both sides, and then we pre-drilled our holes. Again, that is crucial. Do not put your screws in without pre-drilling your holes. It will split the wood. And now we can see the middle track without the middle front ball tray installed. You can see our key tab. Again, we were able to keep these flat because we are not having to reach up and inside of the top shoe like we are on the top ball tray. Now again, for placement, it is approximate. Doesn't have to be exact on both sides. It can be close. You can see where we put both of our key tab eye bolts right there. right in front of that arm that actuates forward and backward to lower the screen holders. To drill these holes, again, we used a point of reference on the outside, and then we came in with a 3/16 drill bit. You can see that it is right next to a bolt that holds on the screen holder on this side of the shoe, and then on the opposite side of the shoe, it is at the same place. Now that we have discussed key tab and eye bolt placement for the middle set of ball trays, we can come around to the back of the cleaner and we can see the back ball tray. This is the second ball tray of the middle set. We can see that the ball tray is firmly up against a backstop. Before you drill, before you orient your key tabs and your eye bolts, make sure that your ball tray is seated up against the back part of the shoe. If you orient your eye bolts and your key tabs with a gap like that, if this gets hung up on something, it will throw off all of your settings up at the front of the shoe. So make sure that when your ball tray is installed, it is seated before you orient and set your key tabs and eye bolts. Now we are going to be looking at the last set of ball trays. This is for the bottom front. This is going to be a lot similar to the middle set of ball trays. We can see our key tabs. Now we were able to set this up like this and use the key tab as it was intended. This tab comes out and you can grab the ring with your finger and pull on it and get it to disengage from the head of the number 10 screw. Same thing goes for this corner. You can just grab it, pull on it, get it to disengage and drop it. Then we need to move up our screen holders. That's done just by pushing up on them. Do the same thing over here. This gives us the most gapping and distance so we can pull the ball tray backward and then up and out. And now we have removed the bottom front ball tray. You can see that our screw placement is the same as it is on the middle front. Again, pre-drill every hole. A 1/8 drill bit is used on these number 10 screws. For the placement of the key tab, the spring, and the eye bolt, the position of your eye bolts and key tabs is going to be approximate based on the needs of your mill and how the ball trays are loaded. Now we have reinstalled the ball trays. You've seen how they've came out. You've seen how they're loaded and installed. We are going to reiterate some crucial details. Again, these ball trays are made as an upgrade kit. They're made to work with any Crippen, any clipper, or any grain cleaner that has enough room in the shoes to take ball trays. We can make ball trays for. We can custom make them. Because these ball trays are an upgrade, your shoe may need to be modified. As you can see here, we had to remove some wood to make the top shoe take this ball tray. And then on the bottom shoe, we had to remove these cross members. These cross members were not crucial to the structure of the shoe, so they could be removed. The shoe is plenty strong and the cross members can be removed. If your unit needs to have a cross member, a piece of iron pipe and a metal plate could be fabricated, and then screws could be ran into the sidewalls so that your shoe on your particular machine doesn't lose any structure. Those cross members could have also been cut down or modified. When installing your ball trays for the first time, again, ensure that they are all the way up against the backstop of the shoe. Again, if there is a gap between the ball tray and the backstop, it will throw off the eye bolt and the key tab settings. Again, for the key tab to effectively hold the ball tray in place, the eye bolt needs to be positioned in such a way that the spring will have tension when it is hooked on to the number 10 panhead screw. Pre-drill every hole when installing the number 10 panhead screws into the ball trays. Once the ball trays are in and everything is set properly, then it is a good idea to label what ball tray is what. This is the top front, middle front, and bottom front. Your ball trays will not be labeled, as this is something for you to determine. To seal in the top shoe, again, we added this rubber. This rubber can be bought from us. A substitute would be clear nylon rubber. Conveyor belting if it is not too thick. If it is too thick, it will mess up how this tailgate bolts to this unit. That will be up to you to determine whether or not you need a piece of steel or some flexible rubber installed in any place that you cut out. Now that we have gone over proper installation of these ball trays, we can discuss loading the ball trays with the included balls. You can see that these ball trays have individual compartments. They're divided by these triangular pieces of wood, and then they have angled aluminum here in the middle of each compartment. We load 5 balls per compartment. So what I usually do is 2 up here, 3 down here. And then you repeat that per every compartment. So 5 balls, 5 balls, 5 balls, etc., etc. Each of these compartments should have 5 balls. This concludes the installation video of these ball trays. For more information or any questions, give us a call or email us. Thank you for watching.